I was 14 when my father looked his business partner dead in the eye and said, "Don't worry about Sophia. She'll make a good wife someday." I was standing right there in our kitchen, holding a report card with straight A's, including advanced calculus that most seniors couldn't handle. But all he saw was a girl who would eventually belong to someone else. My name is Sophia, and that moment broke something in me that I didn't even know could break. Fast forward 18 years, and I'm sitting in my downtown apartment at 11 p.m., laptop open, watching numbers climb on my business dashboard. 7 figures. My online consulting firm just crossed 7 figures in annual revenue, and the only person I want to tell is the same person who would probably ask when I'm planning to give it all up for babies. My phone buzzes. Mum. "Sophia, honey, are you busy?" "Never too busy for you, Mum." "What's up?" There's this pause, the kind that makes your stomach drop. "Well, your father's been stressed lately about money things. I don't really understand it all, but he's been getting mail that makes him angry." I set down my wine glass. "What kind of mail?" "Bank stuff, legal stuff. He throws it away before I can read it. But, Sophia..." Her voice drops to a whisper. "I found some papers in his truck yesterday. Something about the house." My blood goes cold. "What about the house?" "I don't know. He caught me looking and got so angry. You know how he gets." "Yeah, I know how he gets. I've known since I was 14 and learned that my worth was measured in future husband potential rather than actual achievement." "Mum, I'm coming over tomorrow." No, don't. He's already upset about Walter losing another job. If he thinks I'm worrying you with family business, Walter, my 34-year-old brother who's been between opportunities for 8 months now, but somehow still gets called a hard worker going through a rough patch, while I get called lucky with that computer stuff. "Mum, if something's wrong with the house, I need to know." "Sophia, please, just maybe call him this weekend? He always perks up when you call." "No, he doesn't. He tolerates my calls. There's a difference. After we hang up, I can't focus on work. I keep thinking about that look in his eyes when I was 14, like I was already gone, like I was never really his to begin with." I grab my keys. The drive to my parents' house takes 23 minutes. I've made this drive 1,000 times, but tonight it feels different. Tonight, I'm not the dutiful daughter coming for Sunday dinner. Tonight, I'm a businesswoman with resources, and something is very wrong. Their mailbox is overflowing. Dad never lets mail pile up like this. I park across the street and wait. The house is dark except for the blue glow of the TV in the living room. Dad's probably asleep in his recliner. Mum's probably reading in bed, pretending everything is fine. At 1 a.m, I walk to their mailbox. I know I shouldn't. I know it's wrong. But something in Mum's voice tonight reminded me of how she sounded when I was 12, and Dad lost his job at the plant. That careful, frightened whisper that meant our world was about to shift. The mail is mostly junk, but there are 3 envelopes that make my hand shake. First, National Bank. Final notice, County Courthouse. Foreclosure proceedings. Mann Family Trust. Delinquent property taxes. I sit in my car under the streetlight, reading by the dome light. The numbers blur together, but the message is clear. Dad owes $180,000 in back payments and loans, and they're going to take the house. The house where Mum planted roses every spring for 30 years. The house where Walter and I carved our initials in the basement stairs. The house that Dad always said would be the boys someday, because girls just marry into other families anyway. My phone buzzes with a notification from my business account. Another client payment cleared. $15,000 for a 3-week project? I stare at that number, then at the foreclosure notice. $180,000. I make that in 4 months. But here's the thing about being just a girl in a family like mine. You learn to be invisible. You learn to move quietly. You learn to solve problems without anyone noticing until it's too late for them to stop you. I fold the letters carefully and put them back in the mailbox. Then I drive home and open my laptop. Time to make some calls. The next morning, I'm on my third cup of coffee when I call my accountant. Marcus, I need you to pull my liquid assets report. Everything I can access within 30 days. Good morning to you too, Sophia. What's the emergency? Family stuff? How much can I move without tanking my business operations? Hold on. I hear typing. You've got about $220,000 in savings, another $180,000 in that crypto portfolio you started in 2019, and your business account has $95,000. Why? I don't answer directly. Send me everything. I'll call you back. Next, I dig into Dad's financial mess. It takes 4 hours of phone calls, but I piece it together. 3 years ago, he started a side business flipping houses with his buddy Rick. They bought a property, gutted it, then the market shifted. Instead of cutting losses, Dad doubled down, took out a second mortgage on our family home, then a third. The construction business failed. Rick disappeared. Dad's been juggling payments ever since. My phone rings. Walter. Hey, Soph. Mum said you called her worried last night? Did she tell you why? Something about Dad being stressed. But when isn't he stressed? Remember when he thought Y2K was going to end civilization? I almost laugh. But then I remember the foreclosure notice. Walter, when's the last time you were at the house? Sunday dinner, same as always. Why? Did Dad seem different? He's been weird for months. Keeps talking about getting back on top and showing everyone. But that's just Dad, you know? He's always got some scheme. Some scheme. Like the time he invested our college funds in his friend's restaurant that closed in 6 months. Like when he bought that boat he couldn't afford because a man needs a boat. Walter, I think he's in real trouble this time. What kind of trouble? I almost tell him. But Walter would go straight to Dad and Dad would explode. He'd rather lose the house than accept help from his daughter. Just keep an eye on him, okay? After we hang up, I call Darren Bennett. He handled my business incorporation 2 years ago, and he's the kind of lawyer who doesn't ask unnecessary questions. Sophia, how's business? Booming. Darren, I need to ask you something hypothetical. I love hypotheticals. They're usually not hypothetical. If someone wanted to buy a house that's in foreclosure, but they wanted to do it quietly, how would that work? Define quietly. The current owner doesn't know they're being helped. The transaction looks like a regular sale to a business entity. Ah, there's a pause. How much are we talking? Around $180,000. And this someone has that kind of cash? This someone does. Well, hypothetically, we'd set up an LLC. The LLC purchases the property, pays off the liens, and becomes the new owner. Clean and legal. How long would that take? If we move fast, 2 weeks, maybe less if the current owner is motivated to avoid foreclosure. I think about Dad's face when he talks about the house, how he always says it'll be the boys someday, how he's never once mentioned that I might want a piece of our family history. Darren, let's stop being hypothetical. I was hoping you'd say that. We spend an hour going over details. The LLC needs a name that won't raise suspicions. Something professional but generic. What about Meyer and Wolf Holdings, I suggest. Sounds appropriately corporate. I like it. That afternoon, I'm walking through my old neighbourhood when I see Mrs. Patterson from next door. Sophia, how lovely to see you. Your mother mentioned you're doing so well with your business. Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. how are my parents doing? Her smile falters slightly. Well, your father's been busy. Lots of people coming by. Official-looking people. My stomach drops. What kind of official people? Bank people, I think, and someone from the county. Your poor mother looked so worried. I thank her and walk faster toward my car. This is worse than I thought. That evening, I transfer $200,000 from my crypto account to my checking account. The transaction fee alone is more than most people make in a month, but I don't hesitate. My phone buzzes with a text from Dad. Sophia, your mother says you're worried about something. Everything's fine here. Don't listen to your mother's worrying. I stare at that text for a long time. Even when he's lying to protect his pride, he can't help but dismiss Mum's concerns. I text back, just wanted to make sure you're okay. I'm always okay. I'm the man of this family. Right. The man of the family who's about to lose the family home. I call Darren back. How fast can we move on this? I can have the paperwork ready by tomorrow afternoon. But, Sophia, once you do this, there's no going back. You'll own your family's house. I know. And they won't know it's you. That's the point. What happens when they find out? I think about being 14, standing in that kitchen with straight A's, invisible. I guess we'll find out. Darren's office smells like leather and expensive coffee. I'm sitting across from his mahogany desk, signing papers that will change everything. This is the deed transfer, he says, sliding another document toward me. Once this is filed, Meyer and Wolf Holdings LLC officially owns the property at 1247 Maple Street. My childhood address. I sign my name with a steady hand. The bank will receive payment tomorrow morning. Your father will get a call that the foreclosure has been resolved by a private buyer who's willing to let him stay as a tenant. What if he asks questions? The bank will tell him that Meyer and Wolf Holdings purchased the debt and the property. They'll say the new owner prefers to remain anonymous, but is offering a reasonable rental agreement. I write the check, $180,000, the largest check I've ever written, and I'm giving it to save a man who thinks I'm incapable of balancing a checkbook. Darren, I need you to promise me something. What's that? No one can know it's me, not your secretary, not the bank, not anyone. Attorney-client privilege, your secret's safe. I drive home in a daze. My phone rings twice, Mum, then Walter, but I don't answer. I need time to process what I just did. That evening, I'm heating up leftover Thai food when my phone buzzes with a text from Dad. Good news, bank called today. Some company bought our mortgage and we can stay. Crisis averted. Your old man always figures it out. I stare at that text until my food gets cold. Always figures it out. Right. The next morning, I'm in a client meeting when my phone starts buzzing non-stop. Walter's calling. Sorry, I need to take this, I tell my client, stepping into the hallway. Sophia, you're not going to believe this, Walter says. Dad's acting like he won the lottery. What do you mean? He's strutting around telling everyone how he handled the situation and showed those bankers who they're dealing with. Mum tried to ask him what happened, and he just said, a real man always finds a way. My jaw clenches. Did he say anything else? He's planning some big family dinner this weekend to celebrate. He wants everyone there. You, me, Jocelyn, the whole crew. Says he has an announcement to make. An announcement? Probably going to take credit for solving a problem he created. You know Dad. Yeah, I know Dad. After we hang up, I walk to the bathroom and splash cold water on my face. In the mirror, I look like I haven't slept in days. My phone buzzes with a text from Mum. Sophia, your father wants you to come to dinner Sunday. He's so happy about this house business getting resolved. I haven't seen him this proud in years. Proud? He's proud of something I did, and he doesn't even know it. I text back, I'll be there. Saturday afternoon, I'm working from my favourite coffee shop when an envelope arrives via courier. My name is printed on expensive letterhead, Maya and Wolf Holdings LLC. Inside are property tax documents, insurance papers, and a rental agreement template, all addressed to me as the CEO of Maya and Wolf Holdings. The barista looks over as I laugh out loud. Good news, she asks. Something like that? I take a photo of the deed and save it to my phone. Then I lock the documents in my home safe, right next to my business contracts and my grandmother's jewellery. Sunday morning, I'm getting ready for family dinner when Jocelyn calls. Sophia, did you hear about Uncle Virgil saving the house? Uncle Virgil, my dad. I heard something about that. It's amazing. He's been telling everyone how he negotiated with some big corporation and got them to back down. Mom says he's been calling relatives all week, bragging about his business skills. I sit down hard on my bed. He's been bragging? Oh yeah. He told my mum that when you're a real businessman, you know how to handle pressure. He even said something about how the women in the family were all worried for nothing. The women in the family. Like Mum, who's been losing sleep for months. Like me, who just spent my life savings to save his ass. Jocelyn, I have to go. See you at dinner. I can't wait to hear all the details. I hang up and stare at my reflection in the bedroom mirror. I'm wearing a simple black dress and pearl earrings. I look professional, successful, like someone who could buy and sell houses without breaking a sweat. But to my family, I'll always be the girl who plays with computers. I grab my purse and check that the deed photo is still on my phone. Time for Sunday dinner. When I pull into my parents' driveway, I see Walter's truck and Jocelyn's car. Through the kitchen window, I can see Dad gesturing animatedly, probably telling the story of how he single-handedly saved the family home. I sit in my car for a moment, engine off, looking at the house I now own. Then I grab my purse and walk to the front door. Sophia! Mum opens the door before I can knock. Perfect timing. Your father's just telling everyone about his big victory. From the dining room, I hear Dad's voice. And I told them, you're dealing with Virgil now. This isn't some amateur hour operation. Everyone laughs. I smile at Mum. Can't wait to hear all about it. The dining room is packed. Walter's at the head of the table with Dad. Jocelyn's next to Mum. And there's even my cousin Chris here with his girlfriend. Sophia! Dad booms as I walk in. Perfect timing. I was just telling everyone about my negotiation with Maya and Wolf Holdings. I freeze in the doorway. Maya and Wolf? The company that bought our mortgage. Big corporate outfit, probably worth millions. But they met their match when they tried to push around Virgil. Walter grins. Dad's been telling us how he convinced them to let you guys stay. Oh, really? I sit down slowly. How did you manage that, Dad? Dad leans back in his chair, chest puffed out. Simple. I called them up and said, listen here, I've been paying mortgages longer than you've been in business. This house has been in my family for 30 years, and I'm not going anywhere. They back down real quick. Mum passes me the mashed potatoes. Your father was so confident on that phone call. I was so proud. They probably figured out they were dealing with a real man, Dad continues. Not some pushover who'd roll over for corporate bullies. Jocelyn nods eagerly. It's so inspiring, Uncle Virgil. You showed them that family values still mean something. I take a bite of pot roast and chew slowly. So they just agreed? Just like that? Well, there's a rental agreement now. Dad waves his hand dismissively. But the payment's reasonable. Probably less than what I was paying in mortgage interest anyway. How much? Walter asks. That's between me and them. Point is, I handled it. Like a man handles things. Chris raises his beer. To Uncle Virgil, showing those corporate sharks who's boss. Everyone toasts. I lift my water glass and take a tiny sip. You know what the best part is? Dad continues. They wanted to send some representative to meet with me, but I told them that wasn't necessary. I said, I don't need to shake hands with some pencil pusher. My word is my bond. Mum beams at him. Your father's always been such a good negotiator. Remember when he got that deal on Walter's truck? Jocelyn adds. Walter laughs. That was different. This is like serious business stuff. Dad went toe to toe with a real corporation. Speaking of business, Dad turns to me. Sophia, you should take notes. This is how you handle real business, not that computer hobby stuff you do. The table goes quiet for a beat. Mum looks uncomfortable. Dad, Walter says carefully, Sophia's business is doing really well. Oh, I'm sure it's fine for what it is. Dad waves his hand. But this is real estate. This is serious money. This is man's work. I set down my fork. Man's work? You know what I mean. High-stakes negotiation. Corporate pressure. Life or death decisions. It's not the same as whatever you do on your laptop. Jocelyn jumps in. Uncle Virgil, Sophia's really successful. She has clients all over the country. I'm sure she does fine with her little projects, Dad says. But when push comes to shove, when the family's on the line, it takes a man to step up. Right, Walter? Walter shifts uncomfortably. I mean, Sophia's pretty smart with money stuff. Smart is one thing, Dad interrupts. But when Maya and Wolf Holdings tried to intimidate this family, who stepped up? Who made the calls? Who saved this house? He looks around the table, waiting for acknowledgement. You did, Dad, Walter says quietly. That's right, because that's what men do. We protect our families. We handle the real problems. I pick up my water glass and take another sip. My hands are perfectly steady. Sophia, Dad continues, you should find yourself a man who can handle business like this. Someone who knows how to deal with pressure. You're not getting any younger, and these computer skills won't matter much when you have kids to think about. Mum touches his arm. Virgil, maybe we should talk about something else. What? I'm giving her good advice. Look at this situation. If she'd been married to a real man, he could have helped me negotiate with these corporate types. Two men working together, that's how you get things done. Chris nods. My dad always says business is about respect, and respect comes from strength. Exactly, Dad points at Chris. See, Chris gets it. That's why I told your cousin he can move into Sophia's older room next month. She's got her own place, and Chris needs somewhere to stay while he's job hunting. I look up sharply. You're giving away my room. You don't use it, and Chris is family. Family helps family. But you didn't ask me. Dad laughs. Ask you what? It's my house, Sophia. I make the decisions about who stays here. The room is dead silent now. Mom's staring at her plate. Walter's looking between me and Dad like he's watching a tennis match. Your house, I repeat slowly. That's right. My house, my rules, and my negotiation skills are what kept it that way. I reach into my purse and pull out my phone. Everyone's watching me now. Dad, can I ask you something? Sure, sweetheart. What's the name of the company you negotiated with? Maya and Wolf Holdings. Why? I scroll through my photos until I find the one I want. And you're sure you handled everything yourself? Of course I'm sure. Who else would handle it? I set my phone face down on the table. That's interesting, because I have something to show you. I flip my phone over and slide it across the table to Dad. The room is so quiet I can hear the kitchen clock ticking. Dad picks up the phone and squints at the screen. His face goes from confused to pale in about 3 seconds. What is this? He asks. Read it out loud, Dad. His voice comes out as a whisper. Property deed, 1247 Maple Street, Maya and Wolf Holdings LLC. Walter leans over. What does it say? Dad's hands are shaking now. CEO and primary owner, Sophia. The silence stretches so long that Chris's girlfriend starts looking around, like she walked into the wrong house. I don't understand, Mum says. Sophia, what is this? I stand up slowly. It's the deed to this house, which I bought 3 weeks ago when Dad was about to lose it to foreclosure. Jocelyn's mouth falls open. You bought the house? With my own money, $180,000 from my little computer hobby. Dad is still staring at my phone like it might explode. This is some kind of mistake. No mistake, Dad. Meyer and Wolf Holdings is my company. I'm Meyer and Wolf Holdings. Walter runs his hands through his hair. Sophia, are you serious right now? Dead serious. Dad's been bragging all week about negotiating with some big corporation. Turns out he was bragging about negotiating with his daughter. But the bank called me, Dad stammers. They said a company bought the mortgage. They did. My company, which I created specifically to buy this house and save your ass. Mum gasps. Sophia, language. No, Mum, I'm done with polite language. I'm done pretending this is normal. I walk around the table and take my phone back from Dad's shaking hands. For 3 weeks, I've listened to you tell everyone how you handled this situation, how you showed those corporate sharks who's boss, how it takes a real man to solve real problems. Dad's face is red now. Sophia, I didn't know. Of course you didn't know, because it never occurred to you that your daughter might be capable of solving a problem you couldn't solve. It never occurred to you that my computer hobby makes more money in a month than you've made in the last 2 years. Chris clears his throat. Maybe we should go. No, stay, I say. This is educational. Chris, you wanted to move into my old room. Well, here's the thing about that room. It's in my house now. Walter stands up. Sophia, what are you saying? I'm saying that every month, Dad writes a rent check to Meyer and Wolf Holdings, which means every month Dad pays rent to me. The colour drains from Dad's face completely. You can't be serious, he whispers. I pull up another document on my phone. Here's the rental agreement, signed by you last week. $200 a month, due on the 1st. Mum looks like she might faint. Sophia, honey, I don't understand any of this. It's simple, Mum. Dad was about to lose the house. I saved it. Now I own it, and he's my tenant. But why didn't you tell us? Walter asks. Because I knew this would happen. I knew Dad would never accept help from his daughter. So I did it quietly, and I let him think he'd handled it himself. Jocelyn finds her voice. But, Uncle Virgil, you said you negotiated with them. Dad's jaw is working, but no sound comes out. Oh, he negotiated, I say. He negotiated a rental agreement with his own daughter without knowing it. Turns out those corporate sharks were pretty reasonable after all. Sophia, Dad finally manages. This is underhanded. Underhanded. My voice gets louder. What's underhanded is taking out 3 mortgages on the family home without telling anyone. What's underhanded is risking Mum's security for your failed business ventures. What's underhanded is letting your family think they might lose their home while you play the big man. Mum starts crying quietly. And what's really underhanded, I continue, is spending 3 weeks bragging about solving a problem that your daughter actually solved, while simultaneously telling that same daughter that she should find a man to handle her business for her. Walter sits back down heavily. Jesus, Sophia. Don't Jesus, Sophia me, Walter. You sat here and listened to him dismiss everything I've accomplished. You nodded along when he said I needed a man to handle real business. I look around the table at their shocked faces. Well, here's some real business for you. I own this house. Dad pays me rent. And Chris? I look directly at my cousin. You'll need to find somewhere else to stay. My house, my rules. Dad's voice comes out as a croak. Sophia, you can't do this to family. Do what, Dad? Save your house? Pay your debts? Keep Mom from losing her home? You can't own our house. I smile for the first time since I sat down. Watch me. Dad pushes back from the table so hard his chair scrapes against the wall. This is insane, he says, pacing behind his chair. You can't just buy someone's house without telling them. Actually, I can, and I did. Mum wipes her eyes with her napkin. Sophia, sweetheart, I don't understand. You saved our home? Yes, Mum. 3 weeks ago, when Dad was about to lose it. But how did you know? Walter asks. I saw the foreclosure notices in your mailbox. Dad was hiding them from everyone. Dad spins around. You went through our mail? I went through mail that was sitting in an overflowing mailbox at 1 a.m. because I was worried about my family. That's illegal. So is defaulting on 3 mortgages, but here we are. Jocelyn looks between us like she's watching a car accident. Uncle Virgil, is this true? Were you really going to lose the house? Dad's face goes through about 5 different expressions before he settles on angry. That's not the point. The point is she went behind my back. She manipulated the situation. I solved the situation, I correct him, without asking. Would you have said yes if I'd asked? The silence stretches for 10 seconds. That's what I thought, I continue. You would have said no, the house would have gone into foreclosure, and Mum would have lost her home because your pride was more important than her security. Mum stands up suddenly. Virgil, is that true? Would you have refused Sophia's help? Dad looks trapped. Lorelei, that's not... It's more complicated than that. No, it's not, Mum says, and her voice is stronger than I've heard it in years. It's very simple. Were you going to let us lose our home rather than accept help from our daughter? It's not about accepting help. It's about doing things the right way. What's the right way, Dad? Walter asks quietly. The man handles the family's problems. The man provides. The man protects his family. By losing their house, I ask? I was handling it. How? By taking out more loans? By hiding the notices from Mum? By pretending everything was fine while the bank prepared to foreclose? Dad slams his hand on the table. I don't have to explain myself to you. Actually, you do, I say calmly, because I'm your landlord now. The words hit the room like a physical blow. Chris's girlfriend actually flinches. Mum sits back down slowly. Sophia owns our house. Yes? And your father pays rent to you? Yes. How much rent? I look at Dad, who's gone completely silent. $1,200 a month. Mum nods slowly. That's less than the mortgage was. I know. You gave him a good deal. I gave him a great deal. Market rate for this house would be $1,800. Walter whistles low. Sophia, this is what, Walter? I don't know. It's kind of brilliant, actually. Dad whips around to face Walter. Brilliant? Your sister just stole our family home. She saved our family home, Walter corrects, with her own money. Money she made from her computer hobby, Jocelyn adds quietly. It's not a hobby, I snap. I run a consulting firm. I have clients in 12 countries. I made $1.2 million last year. But, sure, let's keep calling it a hobby. The room goes dead silent again. Chris clears his throat. Did you say 1.2 million? Yes. Dollars? Yes, Chris, dollars. Mum looks at me with something I've never seen before. Pride, maybe, or recognition. Sophia, she says softly. You made over $1 million last year. Yes, Mum. From your business? From my business. She turns to Dad. Virgil, did you know this? Dad's mouth opens and closes like a fish. Of course he didn't know. I answer for him. Because he's never asked. He's never shown any interest in what I actually do. He just assumes it's some little side project I'll give up when I find a husband. Mum stands up again, and this time she walks over to Dad. Virgil, she says, and her voice is deadly quiet. Our daughter made over $1 million last year, and you didn't know? She never said, because you never asked, Mum's voice cracks. She saved our home with her own money, and you've been bragging for 3 weeks about how you handled it. Lorelei, calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. And then Mum does something I've never seen in my entire life. She slaps him. The sound echoes through the dining room like a gunshot. Dad touches his cheek, stunned. 34 years, Mum whispers. 34 years I've watched you dismiss our daughter. 34 years I've stayed quiet while you treated her like she was less than Walter, just because she was born a girl. Tears are streaming down her face now. And now I find out she's more successful than any of us ever dreamed. And she used that success to save our home. And you. She shakes her head. You're angry at her for it. Dad looks around the table desperately. This isn't how families work. I reach into my purse and pull out a folded piece of paper. Actually, Dad, this is exactly how families work now. I slide the paper across the table to him. Your rent is due on the 1st. Dad stares at the rental agreement like it's written in a foreign language. This is ridiculous, he mutters. I'm not signing this. You already signed it, I say. 3 weeks ago. That's your signature at the bottom. He unfolds the paper with shaking hands. His face goes white when he sees his own handwriting. I thought this was from the bank. It was, the bank that now works for me. Chris stands up abruptly. I think we should go. Good idea, I say. And Chris, start looking for a new place to stay? After Chris and his girlfriend leave, the remaining family sits in stunned silence. Dad keeps staring at the rental agreement like it might change if he looks hard enough. Virgil, Mum says finally, say something. What do you want me to say, Lorelei? That I'm proud our daughter ambushed us? That I'm happy she made me look like a fool in front of the whole family? She saved our house. Mum's voice rises again. She humiliated me. Walter slams his hand on the table. Dad, stop. Just stop. We all turn to look at Walter. He's usually the peacekeeper, the one who stays quiet during family drama. Sophia spent $180,000 of her own money to save this house. While you were hiding foreclosure notices and lying to Mum about everything being fine, she was actually solving the problem. Walter? Dad starts. No, I'm talking now. For 3 weeks, you've been strutting around telling everyone how you handled this big corporate negotiation. You called relatives. You bragged to the neighbours. You made Mum think you were some kind of business hero. Dad's face is getting redder by the second. And the whole time, Walter continues, you were bragging about your daughter's accomplishment. Your daughter, who you constantly tell isn't good enough, isn't serious enough, needs to find a man to take care of her. That's not what I said. That's exactly what you said. Tonight, you said she needed a man to handle real business for her. Jocelyn nods vigorously. He did say that. We all heard it. Dad looks around the table desperately. I was just trying to give her advice. Your advice, I say quietly, was that I should find a husband to handle business negotiations for me. 20 minutes after I revealed that I owned this house. Sophia, I didn't know. That's the problem, Dad. You never know. Because you never ask. Because you've decided what I'm capable of, and nothing I actually accomplish will change your mind. Mum wipes her eyes. Sophia, honey, I'm so sorry. I had no idea your business was so successful. I tried to tell you, Mum. Remember last Christmas when I mentioned the Forbes article? The what? Dad asks. Walter pulls out his phone. Oh my God, Sophia, you were in Forbes. Small business spotlight, 3 months ago. Walter's typing furiously. Here it is. Rising stars in digital consulting. How Sophia built a 7-figure business before age 35. He holds up his phone. There's my professional headshot next to a headline about young entrepreneurs. Dad squints at the screen. That's really you? Yes, Dad, that's really me. Jocelyn leans over to read Walter's phone. Oh my God, Uncle Virgil, she's famous. I'm not famous. I'm just successful. Same thing, Walter says, still scrolling. Listen to this. Sophia's innovative approach to digital transformation has attracted clients ranging from Fortune 500 companies to emerging startups across 3 continents. Dad sits down heavily. 3 continents? Europe, North America, and Asia. I have a client in Tokyo who pays me more per month than most people make in a year. The room goes quiet again. Dad, Walter says gently, do you understand what this means? It means I don't know my own daughter, Dad says quietly. It means your daughter is incredibly successful, and instead of being proud of her, you've spent years telling her she's not good enough. Mom reaches across the table and takes my hand. Sophia, I am so proud of you. I always have been. I was afraid to say it. Afraid of what? Afraid of making your father feel bad. Afraid of causing fights. Afraid of... She looks at Dad. Afraid of standing up to him. Dad flinches like she hit him again. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Sophia, this is Patrick. Got your number from Jocelyn. Heard about what happened at dinner tonight. Impressive. Would love to catch up sometime. I show the text to Jocelyn. Did you tell Patrick about this? I may have posted something on social media, she says sheepishly. What did you post? Just that my cousin is a badass businesswoman who owns property now. Walter laughs despite everything. Sophia, you're going to be famous for real now. My phone buzzes again. Another text. This is getting out of hand, I mutter, but I'm secretly pleased. Dad looks up from the rental agreement. Sophia, can we talk privately? About what? About this, about everything, about how we fix this. I look around the table at my family. Mum's still holding my hand. Walter's grinning at his phone. Jocelyn's typing furiously on hers. There's nothing to fix, Dad. I own the house. You pay rent. That's how it works now. But we're family. Exactly, we're family. And family takes care of each other, even when the other person doesn't deserve it. Dad's shoulders slump. Sophia, My phone rings. The caller ID makes my stomach drop. Who is it? Mum asks. I hold up the phone so they can see the name. Dad? I stare at my phone, confused. Dad, you're sitting right here. Why are you calling me? Dad looks at his own phone, equally confused. I'm not calling you. The caller ID still says Dad, but now I see the small text underneath. Virgil, home. It's the house phone, I realise. Someone's calling from your landline. We all look toward the kitchen, where the old rotary phone sits on the counter. Who would be calling the house right now? Mum asks. I answer the call. Hello? Sophia? Thank God. This is Mrs. Patterson from next door. I saw all the cars in your driveway and I didn't want to bother you, but there's a man at your front door. He's been knocking for 10 minutes. I walk to the front window and peek through the curtains. There's a man in an expensive suit standing on the porch, checking his watch. I don't recognise him, I tell Mrs. Patterson. Did he say what he wanted? He asked if this was the residence of Sophia, the owner of Meyer and Wolf Holdings. My stomach drops. I'll be right there. I hang up and turn to my family. Someone's here asking for the owner of Meyer and Wolf Holdings. Dad's eyes widen. How do they know you live here? I don't live here, Dad, but my business address might be listed as this property. I walk to the front door and open it. The man in the suit turns around with a smile. Mrs. Sophia? I am David Kim from Pinnacle Investment Group. I apologize for the intrusion, but I've been trying to reach you about a business opportunity. How did you get this address? Public records show Myron Wolf Holdings is registered to this property. I have a proposition that I think will interest you. Behind me, I hear chairs scraping as my family comes to eavesdrop. What kind of proposition? David pulls out a leather portfolio. We've been tracking your company's growth, and we'd like to discuss an acquisition offer. Acquisition? We want to buy your business for $8 million. The portfolio slips from his hands and hits the porch with a thud. Behind me, someone gasps. I think it's Mum. $8 million? I repeat. That's our opening offer. We're prepared to go higher if necessary. I hear Dad's voice from behind me, barely a whisper. $8 million. David nods enthusiastically. Your client retention rate is remarkable, and your profit margins are exactly what we look for in acquisition targets. We've been watching Myron Wolf Holdings for 6 months. I'm sorry, I say, still processing. You want to buy my business for $8 million? Minimum $8 million, potentially more, depending on your current contracts and growth projections. Walter appears beside me in the doorway. Sophia, did he just say $8 million? David looks confused. I'm sorry, is this a bad time? I can schedule a formal meeting. No, it's fine. I'm just surprised. How did you find me? Your Forbes article mentioned you were based in this area. Property records led us here. He glances at Walter, then back at me. Should I be speaking with your business partner instead? I don't have a business partner. Your husband, then? Walter snorts. She doesn't need a husband. She owns this house. David's eyebrows shoot up. You own this property as well? She owns everything, Dad says from behind us, and his voice sounds hollow. David pulls out his phone. Ms. Sophia, I think we need to have a much longer conversation. Are you available tomorrow morning? Yes, I think so. Excellent. I'll have my assistant call you to set up a formal meeting. He hands me his business card. This could be life-changing money. After he leaves, we all stand in the doorway staring at his business card. $8 million, Jocelyn whispers. Minimum $8 million, Walter corrects. Dad walks back to the dining room and sits down heavily. We all follow him. Sophia, he says quietly, I owe you an apology. Dad, no. Let me say this. He looks up at me, and for the first time in my life, I see respect in his eyes. I was wrong about everything, about your business, about your capabilities, about what you're worth. He gestures around the room. You saved our home. You built $1 million business. You just got offered $8 million by strangers who tracked you down because you're that successful. His voice cracks. And I spent 32 years telling you that you needed a man to handle the important stuff. Mum reaches over and squeezes his hand. I don't know how to fix this, he continues. I don't know how to take back 32 years of being wrong. I sit down across from him. Dad, you can't take it back, but you can do better going forward. How? Start by paying your rent on time. He laughs despite himself. Fair enough. And stop telling people I need a husband to handle my business. Done. And maybe, I say, pulling out my phone, you could read that Forbes article, learn what your daughter actually does for a living. Dad nods. I'd like that. My phone buzzes with a notification. Another client payment has cleared. $12,000 for a 2-week project. I show the screen to Dad. This is what I do, Dad. This is who I am. He stares at the number, then looks up at me. You're remarkable, he says simply, and for the first time in my life, I believe he means it. Now, I say, standing up and smoothing my dress, I have some calls to make. Apparently, I'm about to become very, very rich. Mum beams at me. You already were, sweetheart. We just finally noticed. As I walk toward the door, Dad calls after me. Sophia. Yeah, Dad? I'm proud of you. I should have said that a long time ago. I turn back and smile. Better late than never. And as I drive home to my apartment, I can't help but laugh. Turns out being just a girl pays very, very well indeed.